We are mic'd. All right. Let's see. I can't remember. Okay, well, Chuck will be here shortly. Hopefully. Good evening. 4:30, kickoff of our last board meeting of the year, 11 December. This is our call to order. I'm trying to remember who has not had a chance to lead the Pledge of Allegiance. I think our distinguished.
You got to do it once.
You got to do it once already. Let's see.
No volunteers?
I think everybody else has had a chance.
I think you,
actually
maybe you need to as your last official.
Maybe I'll do it.
Oh, yes, yes, that's an excellent idea.
Good nomination. Who should be president? Place your hand over your right or under your heart, wherever it is. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well done.
Excellent.
Oh, yes.
Okay, Lauren, would you help us with the roll call, please? Here.
Here.
There he is. Just in time for roll call.
You're later than Jim.
Mike did.
Okay. Sorry, President Boyd,
Here.
Vice President Kaczynski,
Here.
Director Griffin,
Here.
Director Rotora,
Here.
Director Sainamon.
Here.
Awesome, thank you. Posting of the agenda declaration, please.
The agenda for today's regular board meeting was posted on Thursday, December 7th, 2023.
Okay. Conflict of interests?
President Boyd,
None.
Vice President Kaczynski,
None.
Director Griffin,
I have one that I will be abstaining from voting on tonight due to a personal issue.
Director Rotora,
None.
Director Sainamon.
None. But that being said, I must inform you that I am an employee of the federal government. However, my opinions are mine and mine alone and do not necessarily reflect those of my employer or the other members of the board of directors.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Do we have any calls lined up on the?
Mr. President, I think it'd be appropriate for Director Griffin to identify the conflict item at this time.
Okay.
Okay, I don't have the agenda in front of me yet. It's not coming up on my screen. but
Yeah, I don't have it either.
It would be the plant and equipment on accepting the water line for the coffee shop.
Ah,
So item 9B.
9B.
Yes, all right.
Okay.
Why do you own the coffee shop?
No, but my grandchildren's dad owns the property and I don't want to make a vote on it.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's reasonable.
Thank you for that. No calls in the queue, so we will go ahead and call for closed session start at 4:33, or shut down the open session at 4:33.
Well, you're just all confused.
There we go.
Oh, we are alive. Okay, we'll reconvene at 6:07. Council, do you have a comment you need to make?
Yes, the board met in closed session. No action was taken that requires disclosure under the Brown Act.
Thank you very much for that. Item 8, public questions and comments. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons desiring to address the board on any matter not on the agenda and over which the board has jurisdiction. However, no action may be taken by the board of directors on any item not appearing on the agenda. Non-agenda speakers are asked to limit their presentations to 5 minutes. Public questions and comments on items listed on the agenda will be accepted at any time the item is brought forth for consideration by the board. When you're recognized by the chairperson, please state your name and address for the record. Do we have any comments from the audience?
No.
No, not yet.
Just yell.
Okay, there it is.
There we go.
Okay, my name is Mike Neal. This evening, just real short, just a study in contrast. I attended the city council meeting, which was called Friday for a Monday evening for an item which was spoken by other persons other than just myself as being unnecessary and actually pushing out the proper process for discussing things with the citizens before they proceed down such means. And I pointed out to them that I believe the Brown Act requires them to have general public comment at every meeting they ever hold. And the response was, oh, the lawyer said we didn't have to do that. So my response was, well, I guess that shows how much you want to hear from people then. You should have public comment and you should want to hear from the people. But since the lawyer says you don't have to do that, it means you don't have to listen to those little nincompoops out there in the public. Just hold your meeting and do your business. And I pretty well feel like this will never be the case down here, public, special meeting or otherwise. The study and the contrast I'm talking about is just the general attitude and action and receptiveness in this board and the city, between that and the city council. It was made clear tonight. They don't want to hear from the public unless they have to. Well, so be it. I don't go down there. That's one of many reasons I don't go down there anymore and waste my time. That's one, the reason that it's such a difference down here is the reason I show up down here, because I got tired of not getting listened to, and I found out, number one, I figured out this is the most important board in the valley, and they actually listen to you. So you can go down there and they'll think about what you have to say. Isn't that a new idea?
Thanks, Mike. I missed the city council meetings last week. I guess
This
I'll
was
have to go.
tonight.
Oh, tonight. Oh,
It was a special meeting.
I thought you said there was something on Friday as well. Was that? Yeah, okay.
1 day notice.
1 day notice. Okay, yeah. I'll see if I can find that on YouTube. I think I heard the phone ring while Mike was standing up. Did we have a caller? Caller?
Hello, this is Renee Westdelusk.
Hi, Renee.
Hi, I have a question regarding, there was a press release in both papers this week talking about some kind of analysis that was done showing significantly more water available in the Indian Wells Valley water basin. I want to know, is this going to be discussed at the meeting tonight? And
Yes. Well, we can take questions on this during the discussion about the adjudication, Renee. So it is on the agenda.
I didn't see it listed.
Look, let's see, that's going to be
I saw the
happening.
adjudication listed, but I didn't see this topic.
Yeah, it'll be discussed during the adjudication.
This is directly related to the litigation and will be discussed under that item.
Okay?
Okay, so that's when we can ask questions.
Yeah, call back about that time, and then hopefully it won't be like last month where it turned out to be the very next item on the agenda, so.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Renee. Are there any other callers in the queue? Okay, very good. Go on to item number 9, current business committee reports. Consent calendar?
I move for approval of the consent calendar, both the approval of minutes of November 13th and December 4th, as well as the approval of accounts payable.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, call for a vote. Comments for public? No comments. Call for a vote. Very good. We got a unanimous approval. Item number B, Plant and Equipment Committee, dedication facilities for the coffee shop EV charging station.
All right, so just that one item out of plant and equipment. There is no official name of this business, believe me, I did ask. So I have to just go by what was listed on the plans, and that's the name of the project that's listed on the plans. So they basically relocated the water line that was already going through that property, vacating the easement and then providing us a new easement. It's 300 feet of 12-inch PVC water and a fire hydrant and some connections there for their new project. So in your packet is all the dedication paperwork and the resolution for that. The project was completed by Valleywide Engineering and Construction. And there are no contingencies. Of course, before we have meters set, we'll have their backflow devices tested. But other than that, they're ready to go.
Okay, we'll remind the public that that used to be Water District property, and we
Yes,
sold it last year or year before,
a couple years, I think.
a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you need from us, Renee? Do you need us to,
Well, it's a dedication. So the amount, the construction cost was $40,779. So that is the value of the facilities that they've installed.
okay? Any
So I
board
need your
comments?
approval.
Any board comments or questions? I think we're good, so, okay, do I have an emotion? Do I have a second? Dave,
I'll second.
okay, public comment? Questions? Seeing none, okay, I'll call for a vote.
President Boyd,
Yes.
Vice President Kaczynski,
Yes.
Director Griffin,
Abstain.
Director Rotora,
Yes.
Director Hussein.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Item C, Indian Wells Valley Groundwater Authority. Mr. Griffin.
Actually, this will be Ron's report again
Oh.
because it's the we've had a meeting since, and he gave an update, but we have not had one since that, so. Ron attended the
I think I gave an
November meeting.
update on that meeting at our last meeting, but
Yes,
it's been so long, I actually forgot, Chuck.
I know. And
So-
then there is a new meeting in 2 days, so I will be attending that one and
What's the
eagerly
agenda?
anticipating that one. I do see that it's on the agenda that we were removed, and they do not want the water district to serve as the vice chair. There will be a motion made, and so I will be voting against that because I believe we should be, but they are bringing forth that resolution to remove us as the vice chair because we're due for the rotation this upcoming year.
Did you have any insight? I know you probably have a personal opinion, but do you have other insights as to why they're making this nomination?
They're saying due to the conflict of interest with legal, because of pending litigation, that we could not serve as the vice chair.
Is the data package out? When I saw the agenda, it didn't have a,
Stan, the agenda got released yesterday, and then at about 4:14 or so today, we got the rest of the packet, and when I was walking and I was looking through it, and so I have not read all the way through.
Okay. I haven't
That's as
seen
far
it
as I've
yet.
got, because our closed session started at 4:30, so.
And I do remember some things from every other meeting. Most of it was requested additional money by provost and by, whatever project they have going on, they needed to extend the amount of money for studying the route of the pipeline and, whether it be soil samples, whether it be CEQA, they needed more money for that. So that's mostly what that meeting was about, just approving more funds.
Yes.
The previous meeting, yeah. And that was the main thing that it was about.
So I might make a couple comments as well. I got a chance to go through it and I highlighted a couple of things. In their NEPA public scoping period, where they submitted stuff, the Water District did submit comments, and one of the notes that we see in there is that the BLM determined that they will have to do a comprehensive socioeconomic analysis under their EIR, which is a good thing. So that was positive. Another thing that was interesting to the Water Board is looks like they're going to get a DWR grant, and they're talking about using that money to potentially work on wells and incorporate them into our system over on Rademacher due to some well problems they've had over there. So that's embedded in their under their shallow well mitigation program. So it might be interesting that we could end up working with them to implement a consolidation project over on Rademacher. That's part of it, which I thought was interesting for us.
That was discussed, I'm sorry. That was discussed a little bit too. I'm familiar with that area. You know where the Rademacher
Yeah,
wells
I do,
are, and that's very close to the area where I am, where, many, many years ago, those wells began to produce non-quality water, high solids. So to me, it's something that particular area just dodged for about 10 more years. And I know where they are, and I actually visited some of those people the other day.
Other comments, questions? Public?
Yeah, Mike Neal once again. Pretty much along the lines of what I stated before about the city council. The GA continues to show itself to be openly antagonistic to one of its actual members. They seem to enjoy letting their lawyers behind the scenes craft these nasty little letters and, then throw them out and make accusations against the water district. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the announcement of this latest technical study and the promise that we may not have a big water problem in this valley, which a lot of people have actually been saying for some time. And of course, they had to, basically make accusations. They can debate the facts. Maybe some of those aren't necessarily available, but there were certainly some big numbers available to discuss. But they can't do that. They can't debate the issue. They have to revert to head slapping. And, oh, you're a bad guy because you just like to be a bad guy. And you might, you'd like to not tell the truth, and along those lines. So I think it's truly disgusting on the part of Peters and Heyman to make themselves a part of that. Everybody knows they didn't write that. The lawyers wrote that. This is the kind of thing Phil Hall revels in writing and putting out. And I just once again say, needs to be a time come in the near future when the GA is ousted from this valley. And I've mentioned it, I keep mentioning that there is a good way to do that. And I guarantee you, you would get the signatures to get an initiative on the ballot to get a vote for that and get them out of here and remove that problem. Because they are now just nothing but a problem for people in several significant ways in people's lives.
Thank you for your comment, Mike. I too would have preferred to perhaps, our council might have been contacted by their council to have a discussion, so we would have been advised by our council of what, that didn't happen, right? So.
No invitation.
No invitation. Okay, item D, something that I'm sure everybody has been waiting for. The election of officers. The Board of Directors will nominate and vote for 2024 Board Directors, President and Vice President. I will turn this over to the board. We'll start with,
I make a motion to nominate Director Kaczynski for president.
okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion to debate?
Stan.
Any comments from the public? We'll call for a vote. We've got a unanimous approval. Yay.
Thank you for your confidence.
You bet.
But you know, never mind.
You'll do a fine job.
I-
Okay, 2024 committee assignments.
You got Vice President.
Vice President.
Oh, Vice President, sorry. Do we have a nomination for Vice President?
Did you talk to anybody?
Hmm?
You didn't. Who wants to volunteer? Dave? Chuck? You're busy? Is it okay? I'll make a nomination for David St. Amand.
Okay, I'll second that. Comments? Public? Seeing none? Please vote. Okay, unanimous
I
approval.
promise I won't miss more than 11 meetings, David.
Way to go, David. Way to stand up or step up.
Mr.
Okay, very
President,
good.
I note that there's maybe an omission that I just noticed, and that is that at this time, the board generally appoints the GA representative, no?
No.
Oh.
It's 2-year term.
Outstanding.
And
That's all I have.
And in the case of Chuck, it's forever.
Yeah, we're just going to appoint Chuck again,
Yeah,
so.
forever.
He likes the job anyway.
My term's up in November of this year, I think.
Okay, item E, I think the way we handled this last year was, this ended up being my first chore. And the way we dealt with it last year was I solicited from the board what topics they would be interested in supporting, and then I took that data and over Christmas sent out the nominations. There was some conflict, there were some gaps. So that,
All I'm asking is the board members just email me what you're interested in. And I'll just do exactly what Melody did.
And then if they can include George and I,
I'm sorry?
if they can include George and I. and
Oh,
they can
yes, of
also
course.
say-
Oh, yeah, please, yeah. Mhm. Yeah, George and you as well. And then I'll go ahead and make the assignments and based on that, before Christmas.
I would only like to make one suggestion as far as the Water Management Committee meeting goes. I think we need to change the date on that and either put it right prior to.
that would make more sense.
Yeah, it seems at the end of the month. and
Yeah.
It's just not convenient to actually discuss stuff and what's going on with the GA and how things go. So we can look at that maybe at the board workshop or
maybe
another
just like
time.
Maybe the first week of the month might be the place to put it.
When we
because-
have our other committee meetings, just have it and.
Yeah.
Let's just
Because
change
then the
it.
GA meeting's usually gonna be that next week, so
Oh.
it would kind of work.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody remembers the history and why it was put where it was, because it seemed out of place to me
Yeah.
at the time as well.
No, they had that meeting before they had a GA
Yeah.
responsibility.
Sure, they had a good reason for moving it, but from putting it there, but they don't see any reason why we can't move it to the first.
I don't think we'll decide, I like that as maybe we do it at the workshop, just bring it up as, when we move it to,
Okay.
yeah. Is that agreed?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, item F. Renee, if you're still listening in, this is the time. I think we can address your question, and after Jim has a chance to address the adjudication.
So I'll make some brief comments. I think some people are aware that there's a press release and an op-ed by Mal that came out in the paper last week. It was in response to new estimates of the safe yield and the amount of groundwater and storage that was released by not only the district, but also other major pumpers in the group. And so there's been some questions. It's been posted on social media as well as the publications. And so in a short period of time, we've attempted to come up with some questions that we see reoccurring on social media. And so I'm just going to go ahead and give a question and a brief answer, and then the board, I'll take further questions on that. All right, the first question is, why did the Indian Wells Valley Water District participate in the technical working group to develop the new analysis? The Water District participated in the group in an effort to ensure that the best science available is being used to develop the most accurate estimates of the Indian Wells Valley groundwater basin and local groundwater supplies. The district believes that this study should be ongoing and will not end here. And the main reason for this is before the valley begins moving forward toward achieving sustainabilities and implementing projects, some of which are estimated at hundreds of millions of dollars, the district board feels it's important that we feel we've used the best science available to estimate the numbers so we can reasonably and responsibly move forward toward sustainability. Number two, how do we access both reports so that we can compare assessment methods? Unfortunately, the district is not able to release the reports now. These were done as part of the district's comprehensive groundwater adjudication. And if you're asking why did we release the numbers and not the reports, I would say that parties in the adjudication felt that it was necessary in the time to counter the GA's narrative that the sky is falling, that there's only 7,600 acre-foot safe yield, and the big one is that there's less than 2 million acre-feet of groundwater and storage. And of course, our numbers are safe yield of 13,400 acre-feet with about 40 million acre-feet of potable fresh water and storages. The differences are significant, and people are wondering why. As I've just indicated, we're not able to release the reports yet, but I will say that the effort that's been undertaken to come up with these new estimates, it goes beyond just a study of existing reports. New data was created, new analysis was run. We feel very comfortable saying that this is probably the most comprehensive, it is the most comprehensive study that this basin has seen. And it was done specifically to define safe yield groundwater and storage and to move forward. I would say that some of the older data, maybe it doesn't include the whole valley, maybe only a portion of it, based on studies 30 years ago. Best science has changed, it's evolving and will continue to change. We think maybe those are some of the broad reasons for the differences that we see. There's been some questions whether these analysis, new numbers, will impact the district's rates moving forward. And the answer is no. I would remind the district customer that the district's rate structure, they're determined independent of the GA's fees and rates. and we come up with the district rates and fees, and then the GAs are put on top of that. So this should have no bearing on the district rates right now. And as for the GA fees, that's up to the GA. But I will indicate that, again, these were prepared by the major pumpers in the GA. They don't necessarily agree with them. And we're not able to provide background data at this time. I will say that the district, in releasing this information, although it may not happen overnight, we do hope that this will be one of the key points to where maybe we can start and at a good time sit down and discuss the numbers from both sides of the table, maybe reach agreement, and then maybe reach agreement on a path moving forward, which would be beneficial to all of the people in the basin. We consider this very good news. I've heard some chatter that you have to consider the source, that this was done by the district in Searles and Mojave and Meadowbrook, the other major pumpers, and that is true. But it's been the district's, and will continue to be the district's goal, is to not inflate the number, but to come up with the true and best estimate. So when these projects like the pipeline, we can really feel that we need them or we don't. It's based on our best due diligence that's available. I would say that, how does this impact the district's position on the pipeline or on any other implementation action, as it's called in the GSP? I would say that, it doesn't definitively do anything, but what it does, I think, show everybody is that maybe it's time to reassess what the numbers look like, both sides if you want to, and then take another look at what sustainability might look like moving forward. That's all I've got. And I'll take questions and the board can too, but if I shut you down more than the other meetings, it's because of litigation. That's all I have.
Thank you for the succinct summary there, Jim. Complex topic, and you divided it up pretty well for us. I'll go to the board and see if anybody has any amplifying information or that they'd like to.
I'll be the
share, and
first,
then
yeah.
I think we've got one caller, so we'll do that after.
I'll see how fast I can get Jim to shut me down. No, I just want to say that I think this analysis that's taking place and this information that comes out on a whole is good for this community. It's good for the community. It's good for the city. It's something that ought to be worked on together and come to a mutual agreement about what these numbers are. And again, I have to stress this. I just see this as good for the base, good for the city, good for the community, good for the water district people. It's not something just be thrown aside and ignored. Thank you.
I want to agree with most of what Ron said. I want to add a little bit to it. I do feel it is breaking news, and I think it's really good for this community. I think that it's our duty as board of directors to look at every avenue we can on how we can protect our ratepayers, and I think that's exactly what we're doing. We're making sure before we move forward in any direction.
Yeah, thank you. David?
Yeah, to amplify what Chuck said, so the expense of the proposed water importation pipeline is so high, it has the potential to double or triple the water rates for our ratepayers. And it's incumbent upon us as a board of directors to make sure that the situation is as dire as it's being described before we commit to such an expense. To do otherwise would be irresponsible and would be an insult to the ratepayers. With the look towards what does sustainability mean? In 2006, the water district was pumping 9,299 acre feet of water. And the estimate is we'll be down to 5,567 acre feet of water. This is while the population of the town has grown. And all of this is going to play in with the uncovered numbers to determine really what impact the water district has and what we think it will have in the future. And that will also tie into how much importance there is on imported water, because they have to import a certain amount, and it has to run continuously, or there's technical troubles associated with that. And if we're not using enough water to justify that importation, then there's no justification for the pipeline. But we have to understand what the situation is before we make that commitment.
Stan?
Yeah, just to follow up on what David just said is, from the very beginning, the Water District was always looking for affordable solutions and alternative solutions, and we haven't changed from that path. We're still looking for the best solution, the most affordable solution, and the one that will give us high-quality water in the future at the least cost. So our position, I think, has been very straightforward and has not changed from day one. We're still looking for the same thing we were looking at 4 or 5 years ago, and we'll continue along that path. And this, I think, is a big jump in our efforts to get this accomplished. Thank you.
And I'd like to, ditto everything that was just offered, but I'd like to make sure that we congratulate ourselves for having the bravery to move forward on such a controversial topic, and the fact that we had a great team that pulled this together for us, and not always agreeing with each other, right? So it wasn't a slam dunk. So applause, to the group, and appreciate the continued efforts. We have one call in the queue, I think. Caller, go ahead.
Hello, this is Renee Westola. I have basically 2 questions. Has this analysis been confirmed or evaluated by an unbiased source, such as the United States Geological Survey or a state agency or some other entity that's known in water hydrology? And then my second question is, who actually commissioned this analysis, and who is this group of scientific engineers according to the press release? And what are their credentials? Are they from major universities that do water studies or anything like that? Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. In response to number 1, the report right now, it has not been, as you say, confirmed or verified by an outside force, anybody outside. What I would say with regard to that is that the study was done by 6 separate engineering firms representing different parties. And I'm looking right now, Renee, to see if I can't find a quick resume on everybody. I'll tell you this, that it is, from the district standpoint, it is Krieger and Stewart, Tim Parker, groundwater, and then Ramble, all of which we used in the past. You'll recall Ramble is the company that has been hired by the state of California to do all of the AEM flyovers. Aqualogic is Mojave Pistachio, and Searles Valley is involved in the study. So I meant, and then Searles Meadowbrook District. Am I missing somebody? Searles Meadowbrook, Mojave. We will put up I'll have on the district website a brief narrative of the credentials of all of the experts that were involved in preparing the analysis.
Is it going to be evaluated or verified or
It will be,
vetted in some way by a outside source that's unbiased?
yes, for sure, probably during the litigation, the adjudication, at which time not only would our numbers be analyzed, but so would the GSPs, so that both of them would have an unbiased review. But things could happen to where the parties may sit down sooner than that, maybe through a mediation or something, but while it's been discussed at a very broad level, there's been no detail given to that. But hopefully it will lead to further discussions between the parties to the adjudication.
Okay, and then in these reports, there supposedly is scientific proof about this increased amount of recharge to the basin.
Yes. The new revised estimate is a safe yield of 13,400 acre feet, as opposed to the GSP's estimate of 6,750 acre feet.
7650.
7650, I'm sorry. And then really the larger discrepancy is between the amount of groundwater and storage. It's estimated in the GSP to be less than 2 million acre feet, and this new analysis estimates it at 40 million acre feet of fresh water, potable water, accessible water. That's all.
Okay. All right, thank you for the information.
Thanks for the question, Renee.
Okay, Mike Neal, the numbers and the difference between them are huge. This isn't just, oh, we got a little more water than the GA's been saying. This is like, we have a safe yield of almost twice what the GA has been saying. And we have a, good water down in the basin that it is multi-times more than what the GA has been saying. All this while over this, what has it been, six years or whatever with the GA, they, move rapidly to tax us, to fund their efforts. And the district ratepayers, the way tiers go now, some do and some don't, but there's $4 million worth costing the people in this district because of the GA's requirements for what the district has to pay them. And that's $4 million out of the economy of the valley going to the consultants and the lawyers. And according to this study, for no good reason whatsoever. So obviously, for what little you're willing to say, this has been going on for some time. And I'm pretty sure most of you have been pretty aware of what this was going to end up being for a while. So my question to you would be, how much do you really believe these numbers? And how much are you willing to stand behind these numbers? With this magnitude of disagreement and the two critical numbers, if I was on the board, my next statement would be, enough is enough. We need to terminate our membership on the GA. And we need to make a move legally to remove the GA and its power from this valley and put an end to this right now. If I really believed with these numbers, there's like, what need is there for anything that the GA is pursuing and all these huge expenditures and all these grants and everybody seems to think that grants fall from heaven. No, grant money comes right from here. That's your tax dollars being used, people. If you don't believe that, I'd like you to explain to me where they come from. It's enough. It's just enough. The GA needs to be done, over with, and out of here. Quit costing all these people all this money and quit, putting this scare into all these people. The sky is falling, the sky is falling. We're going to run out of water. Well, none of those, governmental entities on the GAs ever acted like they thought we were running out of water. If they really believed it, they would have said no more development, no more, permits for building, no more permits for new businesses. We can't afford to use any more water, but they have never done that. So, maybe they don't really believe their own numbers, but since I don't believe most of what comes out of any of everybody else's mouth except for Chuck's, it's hard to, you can't verify that. So, once again, if you really believe this, then you need to stand kind of like what Searles did. Searles says, we don't agree with you, and we're not paying your fees, and we're going to court. Okay, well, you're going to court on an adjudication. So between now and then, you need to say, sorry, bud, you guys are wrong, and you're charging up people $4 million plus out of their pockets to fund you, and we're not going to fund you anymore. So go do your best.
Thanks for your comment, Mike. Regarding the credibility, the new science is what enabled us to have this new view in the valley. This was not something that was looked at before. So it could have been looked at before, but it wasn't. So that does give me a lot of confidence because it does provide us better insights than what we've been able to rely estimates in the past upon. So, but thanks for your comments. Do we have another public comment? I see we have another public.
Christopher Wright. I agree with this gentleman's statement. I mean, the state of California is pretty much taxing us to death all the way around. And this is one more thing that we don't need. That's $4 million that can stay here to solve our problems. The homeless people that are coming, the people that need jobs, stuff like that. And I got the email. That's why I'm like, I saw the email and I was like, are you kidding me on these numbers? Sounds to me like somebody did fudge some numbers to, hey, so they get some money. And I'm with him. I don't want to stand for it. Enough is enough. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. I see we got another call. We'll come back to the board since we started public already. Caller?
Hi, it's Donna Hawker. Good evening.
Hi, Donna.
First, thank you so much for all your due diligence and your hard work. I just had a quick question for Mr. Worth, and I'm not sure he would be able to answer it due to the adjudication. I just would like to know, Mr. Worth, would this data be presented to the judge in the upcoming case this month?
Well, this was the report or the analysis data, whatever you're calling it, will not be provided to the court on on Friday at the hearing. However, there were declarations that were prepared by the district's experts, Tim Parker and Chuck Krieger, and they summarize the results and talk about what they are. And it was done largely to counter the declaration of Steve Johnson in the GA's moving papers. So that's where you can find more information, is actually in Tim and Chuck's declarations. And I'm sure that we can make sure that we get copies of those up on the website as well. And Tim Parker's declaration in particular, Donna, would be of interest to you, I believe.
Great. Thank you so very much.
Thanks for your question, Donna. Do we have anybody else in the queue? Okay. Did we have a board comment?
Yeah, I was curious, based upon Mr. Neal's comment. I was wondering, does our general manager have a general feel for how much money we've paid to the GA over the last 4 or 5 years?
10 million.
12.3 million.
12.3.
Yeah, it's in excess of 10 million. Ty, do you have a better estimate?
$13,182,033.
And how many cents?
Continuing to go up, huh?
Yeah. Thank you. I wanted to make sure. It's a good point, Mike, but
Yeah, it's worse than you thought. Okay, thank you for that lively discussion, Jim, for the summaries. It was very informative. I hope the public appreciates that. Item G, General Manager and Staff Update.
Okay.
I will let our GM run this section.
Okay, I think I might finally be hitting my stride. So we produced 122.8 million gallons of water. We had 0 reportable safety incidents. As far as public outreach, I believe I was invited to speak at the Chamber of Commerce for about 10 minutes in February at a event they're holding, which will be fun. I did attend the Aqua Conference, saw some really great stuff. Multi-agency project funding, and I met some people from listened to a presentation from a company, Clean Energy Capital. Talked to Mr. David Moore, their president, at some length, and we may engage with them on our staff. They're a certified company that does estimates and financials for these large type scale projects, and as we move forward in time, we may want to use their services in sort of comparing cost estimates for the various types of projects that might be used to achieve sustainability, or even for other projects that we are considering in-house. They seem to be pretty good. A couple little updates. Looks like the state's going to update the arsenic rule, lower the level. It should not affect the arsenic. Talk to our staff. Does not look like it will affect the current wells, but it might cause us to have to do additional work in the future. Is that correct, Jason? Did I get that right?
So make the numbers even harder to achieve?
Well, I think what Jason told me is that generally we get to almost a non-detect with the system that we have
Right.
now, but there may be a well that's super, super low that might need some additional work. Was that correct?
Yeah, we have one well that comes in under the current regulation, but depending on what they lower it to, I don't know if you heard what they were considering lowering it to.
I do not have that number in front of me. I think it's still.
Well, I remember they talked about 5 at one point in time, and if that's the case, then we have one more well that would not meet that current or that criteria.
And that's parts per trillion, I think, or something, or
Billion.
parts per billion. Yeah. Okay. They also talked about some hexavalent chromium rules. Not a lot of issues with that out here in any of our wells. We always have the regulatory update stuff. So 1668 and 606 are really this making California conservation a way of life. So we're working towards getting better numbers on that. We're standardizing how we report our population and looking at basically the level of sort of irrigated landscape that we have and non-irrigated landscape, and in a discussion with some experts, it turns out that we have done a fantastic job. Something like 66% of our land that could be irrigated is not, which is probably the highest percentage in the state. So we're once again far ahead of the state in water conservation. Beyond that, not a whole lot. And if there's any other questions, I think that's it.
Okay. In your current transmission line, Jason, are you talk to that?
Yeah, the notice was published on Friday, December 1st for inviting bids. To date, 2 contractors have received the packet. I don't know.
Did I miss something? Oh, I didn't realize that the general manager had the special workshop on his. So we have to schedule it. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that right now, and then we'll come back to.
Didn't realize that was
Anyway.
my task.
Right?
I go for January.
Okay, January sounds good. It's a long meeting. Can we narrow it down to like a morning or a?
We typically do in the morning. Any day's open for me. Chuck, what do you have?
I plan on doing a vacation a little late in the month.
No.
I'd like to do it on the 4th of January if we could. That way that week's tied up in meetings and we get it over with.
You want to do that early?
Yeah, I can make that
I
work.
see some grimace from Lauren. Is that something that's tough to get together, or
I can absolutely get it ready, but that gives you a short amount of time.
to get you
And
information?
we usually take the draft agenda to the January board meeting for
Okay.
review before we post it. We can make it work.
you wanna do it
if
in
that's what
February?
you want.
Yeah, let's move to February.
We could do it in January, just, maybe
it's
like the week of the
February.
14th.
So do we have a February calendar that we can look
I
at?
did not put one up.
I got
We
one on my
usually do it
phone.
January.
You can see the first 3 days.
Board meeting's on February 12th in February.
Whatever works for you.
That far out, I can adjust my schedule to match just about anything, so.
Okay.
Again, Chuck, you were saying, because what we'll have is on the 6th and the 7th, we'll probably have the PE finance and admin, right?
Yeah, but,
And you want to move that to like the 8th?
well, our meeting's on the 12th, is that correct?
Yeah.
In
So
February.
none of us are doing this for money, so why don't we just do it on the 12th, earlier in the day? Make it an all-day workshop.
No, I don't want to do it all day. We burn out. I just, I think we ought to do it on the 8th or 9th like you originally suggested for January. Just do it right after that first week, unless you're going to be gone.
No, I'm not, it's gonna be later in the month.
Okay.
The 9th is open on my calendar.
I don't have a problem with the 9th.
Good, I'm good with it. The 9th
So
work
the
for you?
9th of January?
Oh, no, February.
Sure.
February.
Oh, 9th of February,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that
Oh,
works.
9th
Give
of
us-
February?
Yeah, they'll give us time to,
I don't know if it's a flex or not.
Oh,
It is not a flex Friday.
Would it be better for
Other
you to
things
be a
that may
flex?
come up in
It would be better for me if it were a flex, yes. I have to take vacation time.
But then the whole
Make
staff-
up
That was
the
kind of
time.
that was kind of my thought.
All right.
I
Yeah,
could-
no, I
I
get
could
it.
not miss
But the staff
another
is
day at
off.
work if I.
The staff is off.
yeah, how much,
That's right, staff is off on the flex days.
Yeah.
much staff comes in on the workshops we have?
Well, you're looking at them.
These poor souls right
Oh, you
here,
guys?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, maybe we shouldn't do it on a Friday.
yeah, but there's so many days to choose from. I mean, do we have to pick one that they're,
Make it,
How
Dave,
about the 12th of January? Does that work for anybody?
no, again, that's 12th of February, you mean?
No, I meant January.
Did you guys go to
That would be a safe Friday.
12th
Or it's getting close
January?
to your-
Well, my only question is if staff went to 410s.
We wouldn't be able to implement it until the beginning of a pay period.
Yeah.
so
You would be
wouldn't
okay
able-
then? Okay. Okay, I'm good with the 12th.
12th?
Yeah, we can improve an agenda on the 8th if we had to. Yeah. I'm good with the 12th.
At 9 a.m.?
Yes.
are we back to January?
Yeah,
Yes.
we're at the January 12th.
Well,
I don't know how we got there, Stan, but that's where we are.
It was me.
Hey, I'm retired, I'm pretty flexible.
Yeah. Someone's call and remind me.
I know, right? All right.
Okay.
And we do call it the January workshop.
That's right,
True.
yeah.
You know,
Okay.
So that's
we'll
what it
hold that
says
in
right here.
August. Yeah.
Okay,
So if you could get us agenda items, incoming President Kaczynski, George and I, your request for the agenda by that January board meeting.
Okay.
So by the 8th, so we can review it.
All right.
I would say by the.
do you want to
4th.
have that as a topic of discussion at the board meeting before it, or is that just something you?
Well, I guess what we're asking is that get the information into Lauren before the meeting on the 8th, right?
So by the 3rd or the 4th.
Yep.
And then the draft agenda would go to the board meeting.
Yeah, we can make a decision there.
Yeah,
Okay?
it's actually your decision.
Yeah.
so, I mean,
No, it's our decision. Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
so booster station financial status, let's touch on those real quick since,
The strategic planning, nothing on that? Number 5?
I have a feeling that's the work that's taking place with David and Mel, and
Yeah.
I think that's just going to stay there.
yeah, we're going to leave it there. It'll probably be revisited during the workshop. We don't
you
have
still-
any- we don't have anything
That's what I was
prepared.
assuming that
Yeah.
it would be a workshop.
A workshop item too, yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, then. I'll go with the booster station update. So the contractor did successfully disinfect all the piped lines out there, and they did make their connections now. They were doing backfill and compaction today. Wednesday is scheduled to start some pump testing. And we also have scheduled a specialist in asbestos and lead to come do a survey, which is required for the demolition before the old buildings can be demolished. So that's also going to be done this week. So estimated completion, I believe, was moved towards the end of January. Huh? 24th, yeah.
They're going to use explosives for the demolition?
No, I don't believe they'll be using explosives. Don't think the people that live around there would appreciate it.
We live in the Valley of the Weapons Division. You'd think that there'd be some. Sorry.
Errant bomb.
Thanks, Renee.
That's all I have for that.
Financial status, Ty?
Through November, we have revenues of $6,493,000, which is coming in $539,000 below budget. On the expenditure side, we have expenses of $7,014,000, which is $479,000 below budget. So our net is a negative $521,000, which is a little over budget by $60,000. Caveat to that is we have a credit that's been built up on our replenishment fee, so that will lower those expenditures, especially starting next calendar year.
Okay.
Capital expenditures to date, $852,000, debt service principal, $463,000. And as mentioned earlier, to date on groundwater fees, we have paid $13,182,000.
Okay. And can you remind me again, I can't remember what our deliberations on the allocation, we had earlier this year, we were talking about, remember they had allocation number change, and then the amount we were collecting for replenishment fee was
Yeah,
impacted.
We're still maintaining the 4390.
4390, okay. Thank you. Well, and we never got any discussion on that from the DGA. Interesting. Uh-oh. Attempted fate. Okay. Caller? No, no caller.
She's chatting with them right now.
Yeah, I just, me too.
Unless the first name is no and the last name is caller.
Hello, this is Renee.
Yes,
Restova.
go ahead, Renee.
I just have a question on the financial report. When Mr. Staheli says we're over budget by 60,000, is that just par for the course? Some months we're over budget, some months we're under budget, or is there some kind of ongoing reason why we're over budget this month?
We're really close on the net. 60,000 is a very small percentage variance, but we are down on revenue due to decreased pumping, but we'll see that offset on decreased expenditures on the GA side as well. We're not, so it'll flesh out more in January and February.
Okay. So are we going to continue to see a trend of causing lower revenue because of decreased pumping?
That's been the way it is. Yeah. We continue to see, 5% decreases from the previous year.
Okay.
There will, I believe, eventually come a point of diminishing returns, but we'll just track that as we go along.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Okay. Thank you.
We anticipated some of that during our rate study last year. So it's not alarming yet, Renee.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks for your call. Conservation.
For calendar year 2023, we have had 62 waste reports received, 62 contacts made, 24 formal warnings issued, and 7 penalties issued. I'll also note that compared to the 2013 baseline, we're at 32.9% less than that today.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for that. Okay. Inukern Road transmission line.
You ready?
I think I'm ready.
We already did that. No,
Sort of. The notice inviting bids went out, was published in the papers on Friday, December 1st. To date, 2 contractors have received plans, with a possible 4 other contractors expressing interest. The district, along with Krieger and Stewart, will be performing a mandatory job walk this Thursday, the 14th, at 11 a.m. The initial draft report for the pro forma has been completed, and everything continues to be on schedule to authorize pre-issuance of the bond at the January board meeting and award the pipeline construction at the February board meeting.
Okay. And our best estimate on when we think this might be, if everything goes according to plan, we might be operational
Late summer.
late summer? Okay. Thank you. Comments, questions? Okay, arsenic treatment facilities. Jason?
The plants are offline for the season, and staff continues to sift through the media and is currently making calculations with the anticipation of purchasing new media before the summer pumping season.
Okay. And operations?
For the month of November, there were 11 repairs, 37 replacements, 40 valves returned, bringing our grand total for the year to 282. NODES ran 6 times, saving 62,460 gallons, bringing our grand total since inception to 9,161,655 gallons.
Hey, nice. Very good, thank you.
I'd like to make a quick comment. So
Please.
as I've become more acquainted with the team here, I've gotten a chance to go out and watch them do maintenance, and I am astounded at the level of what I would call preventative maintenance that occurs in this system. People that are, where we're replacing, if we have a leak here in the street, we might replace 4 or 5 different laterals at the same time. What a fantastically well-run organization, in the sense of just, people, what do people say? Everybody likes to build something, but nobody wants to do maintenance. These guys are so dedicated to the maintenance and keeping this system up and running. I'm incredibly impressed. Just wanted to say that for the team.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, George. That's nice insight. And, from the new kid on the block to be convinced in a very short period of time of what we've assumed. Very good. Okay, board comments, future agenda items.
I have a couple comments. First, I want to thank the board for all working together, and as you mentioned earlier, on this release, and I think it's great news for the valley. And citizens, please stick with us, because we're working hard at this, and we want to make sure we're doing what's best for you guys. And then I'd like to take a minute to wish staff a Merry Christmas and thank you guys for your work. We couldn't run this place without you, and we're very thankful for everything you guys do. And if you'll pass that on to everybody, I'd appreciate it.
Ron?
Same Merry Christmas to the staff. We appreciate the hard work. Pass it on to everyone. I hope everyone has a great Christmas. And I believe we're going to meet one more time. Don't we have a water management meeting coming up here at the end of the month? So I'll get a chance to say this again. And we might decide at that meeting where to move it too. Maybe we can get that off the calendar if we can. But I appreciate it. And again, I'm asking the public that's listening to bear with us. We're working very hard to make sure that we have sustainable water, good water for our ratepayers at a reasonable rate. So hang in there, watch what we're doing, and pray for us. We're going to make it work. Thank you.
David?
I'd like to start out by thanking President Boyd for his service to the Board of Directors and the Water District this year. Well done, sir.
Thank you.
I'd like to say Happy Hanukkah to those celebrants and Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year to absolutely everyone. Thank you.
And I would like to say Merry Christmas to everyone, including the staff and anybody else that's listening. Thank you.
Yeah, what can I say? It's been a pleasure, and a year sure went by fast. got to see some things I didn't anticipate seeing, and found 40 million gallons or acre feet of water. So set the bar for the next president.
Technically, they're gonna nail you. You only found 38.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? Yeah, dang it. Okay, this meeting's adjourned at 7:10. Wow.
Clean your drawers out.